Here we go. Let's kind of get this thing going over. Okay, so a couple of things going on. It looks like it looks like things are loosening up on the COVID front. It looks like things are kind of loosening up. Now we've got, for example, the Mayor Blangiardi said that they can hold outdoor and indoor seating events at 100% capacity. That's never happened before, so big time. You'll still need to have masks and proof of COVID-19 vaccination, etc. But at least you'll be able to do it. Can't have food yet, just water only, but it's coming. And looks like the bars are opening up a little bit, 50% capacity and they'll be up until 2 a.m. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of happening. So now we got the next up is no masks. It's possible. There's again this whole loosening up thing is kind of happening. The governor is saying that if the case counts drop below 100, stay and drop below 100, they may lift the mask mandates. So that's kind of cool. And there's some talk that the federal regulations over flights are going to override Hawaii's safe travels application. So there's changes in the air, folks. And you see how those two. You zoom in a little bit. You can see those two graphs here. The upper graph is the number of cases. We're way down back again to where we were kind of pre-Delta spike levels. And the fatalities have also dropped. They're coming to near zero. So all in all, good news. Looks like things are kind of moving along. So Maui tax relief. I want to hear what might be. Maybe Heidi might have something to kind of share about this. But I found there was looks like there's going to be some interesting development, which they're talking about having a tax break for Maui landowners if you've lived in the property. Let's see, three generations back or more than 81 years. So interesting. This development is kind of favoring favoring long-term residents. That's going to be an interesting development. I wonder where that's going to go. Now, if you've been 3 generations back or 81 years, apparently your taxes are like next to zero, $350 a year. So let's see, I've been here for 40 years. I got 40 years to go, and I too will qualify for that. And finally, lava buyout. So I want to hear what Dylan thinks about this one. They're moving into where if you had a home that was destroyed by lava, if you were an owner occupant, you could have earlier gotten they would sort of buy out your home. But now this is apparently going to people that have a secondary residence. If you have a secondary residence on the Big Island and it was wiped out, destroyed by the 2018 Kilauea eruption, apparently you can get they will buy back your property. So that's kind of interesting. That's all I got for this week. It wasn't actually I had to scrounge to pick up these stories. We're all talking about it was a quiet week. But anyway, that's that. Let's kind of go around the table over here. Let's go clockwise to me. So Dylan, then Scott, then Heidi. Dylan, anything else? Have you heard about that? You must know about the lava buyout. What about that or anything else?
I don't. I'm gonna look into that now. That's news to me.
So okay, there you go.
I will check into that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And is there anything else? There's my phone going. Is there anything else going on?
It's been pretty quiet. Town's pretty quiet. There's not that many visitors here right now. That's gonna pick up. And I think that was mainly a result of Ironman getting canceled. Right. Normally people avoid Kona and because everything is booked for Ironman, and then Ironman got canceled, and then nobody showed up or nobody had plans to come. So that'll ramp up here as we get into November. But it's been nice. It's been dry. That's the big news, is that after a very wet year, we've had a week or two of no rain, which is odd, but almost welcome.
Awesome. Scott, what's going on over there?
Yeah, I think it's quiet here on Oahu too. I mean, since Ige said stop coming here, it feels a lot more quiet, and it's been much, much easier getting into restaurants, setting up restaurant reservations. I mean, it went out twice this past weekend, and I was able to get reservations either the same day or the day before. We went into the restaurant and there was like 4 other people in one of them. So it's much easier being able to go out. Part of that vaccination card, having to show that is probably a little bit of a challenge for people. But even when I was on the Big Island last 2 weeks ago, the 2 times I had gone over earlier this year, I couldn't get into a single restaurant weeks in advance along that coastline. And when I went over this last time, I was able to get into every restaurant that I wanted. And when we went into some, there was maybe 4 or 5 people in those restaurants. So it's just kind of quiet. And I'm kind of interested to see, once we loosen up, okay, are we going to have this ebb and flow that keeps happening? You have some spikes and whatnot. Okay, let's go get restrictive again. And I'm kind of interested to see how things go, not only just from tourism and then from just the day-to-day ease of going in and out and whatnot, you know, going to restaurants and stuff. Can you hear us, Peter? I think we lost Peter.
We got to carry on, Heidi. What's going on in Maui?
Well, not too much big news on Maui. I mean, just commenting on the tax rates, property taxes in general, the policy's been to keep them low for full-time residents and owner occupants. And now there's an additional tax exemption for people that are doing long-term rentals. So they want to tax the short-term rentals and timeshare the very most. So that's always been the policy, and they're always adjusting it a little bit. But compared to a lot of places on the mainland, if you're going to live full-time on Maui, your property taxes are going to be pretty low compared to a lot of places. There is kind of a, oh, hi, Peter.
Whew. Keep going.
We carried on without you. We don't need you. You're fired.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep talking, but
Keep talking, Heidi. Keep talking.
So, I mean, I guess one of the there is a controversial bill that's being introduced, and this would impact owners of short-term vacation rental properties, TVRs, or transient vacation rentals. The proposal is for short-term rental properties in apartment zoned areas, which there are a ton of those on Maui, and they've been legally operating as vacation rentals for, I mean, since these properties were built 30, 40 years ago. The proposal is, so this is not passed, I don't know if it will pass, but if you sell a vacation rental property, the new owner can no longer use it for vacation rental. It would have to be full-time owner or long-term rental. So that would be, if this does pass, it would be quite significant. So it's just a proposal at this point, but there always seems to be, the trend is, you know, to try to limit short-term rentals, provide more affordable housing, and then it's just all political and figuring out, you know, what's the best way to do that. So I won't get into it further, but
Well, one thing universal, it always ends up being a mess. That's the unfortunate part. It always ends up kind of all kinds of strange, conflicting interests, and God only knows who's going to win. And even when there's a decision made, they don't enforce it. At least that's been the experience here on Oahu. Anyway, sorry about that. We had a very inconvenient power outage. So all of a sudden I'm talking and bam, power goes out. So thankfully we recovered and the power's back again. So I apologize. Who's up? What did I miss? Don't tell me what I missed, but who's up next?
We got it all covered, Peter. We went the circle already. I think you're next.
All right. Awesome. Okay.